The time right now is 32 minutes past 8. It is a Thursday morning, and that means that Howard Elias is here in the studio.
In the studio. Almost
Yes.
didn't make it because the road from my place.
99% of the time you're here in the studio.
But I almost thought about not coming in because the road from my place to the MTR station is still closed. So our shuttle bus has to take the long way around, and it adds an extra 10 minutes to the journey.
Mhm.
And I thought, oh, why am I doing this?
Because you love it.
Well, I like it's. I think we
And
do
it's a
better.
job.
No, I mean I could do it by phone, but I think
No,
I like the
coming
outcome.
here, yeah.
The outcome is better when we're both in the studio together.
Well,
I think, because we can see each other.
Yes, there's something to be said for that.
Yeah. So in the interest of good radio.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're talking about a horror.
So give us some good radio.
Yeah. So today we're talking about a horror film which opens today called The Nun. And you like horror stories, you told me last week or the week before, yeah. So, and in fact, I think you even know who well, you don't know her personally, or maybe you do. You know who the star is, Thaisa Farmiga. She's been in American Horror Story quite a few times, apparently.
Yes.
She's like a recurring, she plays different characters, right? Because I never watched the show.
Yes.
But she's...
each story is different.
Each story is different, but she's been on, I think, 3 seasons in 3 different characters, so you know who she is. So this is part of the Conjuring universe. Dan, did you know that The Conjuring was now a universe? It started out as The Conjuring in 2013, and then there was The Conjuring 2, which came out in 2016.
Yeah, I've seen all of them.
Oh, okay. Well, this is right up your alley. Did you see Annabelle and Annabelle Creation?
No.
So this is Annabelle and Annabelle Creation. It's debatable whether they're part of the Conjuring universe because it's the same people behind the films, but it's a slightly different tack. It's sort of like a spin-off of the Conjuring. But this is a backstory, let's say, of the Conjuring 2. So you saw the Conjuring 2 because I don't like the genre generally, so I'm not an aficionado of the Conjuring films. So you saw the Conjuring 2?
Yeah, but I can't talk about it because I watched so many films.
You can't remember. But there was a nun character in the Conjuring.
Long time ago.
Yeah, there was a nun character in the Conjuring 2, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think.
Maybe this is the movie I'm thinking of.
Yeah, probably.
We're talking about, based on the synopsis of this film, I could swear that I've seen something that is exactly the same. And you're saying it's just come out, but remembering viewing something like this a couple of months ago.
Then this must be it. You must have seen The Conjuring 2.
Yeah, probably.
So my understanding is,
I'll remind myself on Google later.
Yeah. So there was a nun character in The Conjuring 2, and you mentioned the demon Valak.
Yes.
So who's also part of this film as well. So that was probably what you were thinking of. Yeah. So that sort of thread of the story has now been. The clock has been turned back to 1952, and the setting has moved from the London suburb of Enfield, which was The Conjuring 2, to Romania, where my grandfather came from. So, my grandfather was not a vampire, though. Well, maybe he was. I don't know.
The Enfield just made a light bulb go off in my head. Yes.
So that's it. That's what you were thinking of.
No. Actually, it's not that film.
Oh, okay. So anyhow, now the producers James Wan and Peter Safran have decided. Well, we've made 4 films and we've made $1.2 billion off of these 4 films, on a combined production budget of just $84 million for Warner Brothers. So it's been hugely successful. They haven't been highly rated films, but just hugely successful. So they decided, well, let's milk this cow a little bit more, right? So now we have The Nun. So as I said, the setting is 1952, and we're at a spooky monastery in Romania. So it's at that monastery where 2 Roman Catholic nuns who live there are attacked by an unseen force as they enter a tunnel to retrieve an ancient Catholic relic, and one nun gets dragged away into the abyss. This happens in the first 30 seconds of the movie, so don't worry about it. She gets dragged away into the abyss, and the other one decides to take her own life. Now, the second one, she's discovered by a man named Frenchie, who's a Belgian actor, played by a Belgian actor by the name of Jonas Bloquet. I'm not familiar with him. But Frenchie is a young French Canadian who has decided to make his home in the nearby village, and he has the responsibility of delivering supplies to the monastery on a regular basis. So, word of the nun's suicide has reached the Vatican, and what do they call it? A synod? Like a group of religious leaders. Isn't that the word? Yeah, I don't know. When it comes to Christianity, I don't know. I think it's called synod. So, a group of religious leaders, let's call it that, they meet up and they decide to contact Father Burke, played by Mexican actor Demian Bichir, who was in The Hateful Eight, and he's called in to go there to investigate. Now, why Father Burke? Why does Father Burke have a very English sounding name when he's Mexican? I don't know. Well, could have a Mexican mother, I suppose. So we learn he's a sort of exorcist. They don't say exorcist, they give it some other name, very highfalutin name, but he's an exorcist, okay? And he hasn't been overly successful, we understand. We learn very quickly because a very young boy named Daniel didn't quite get the demon exorcised out of him as he had hoped. Now, Father Burke is also told that he'll be accompanied on his journey to Romania by a young novitiate by the name of Sister Irene, who's played by Taissa Farmiga of American Horror Story fame, and she'll go with him. Now, no sooner does the pair arrive at the monastery than they're exposed to strange goings on that only build and get creepier as they get closer to understanding what's really going on there. And the film reaches a climax when literally the doorway to hell breaks loose. So this is right up your alley. You're going to love this film. Now,
how the special effects, how's the makeup, that all matters.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah. Now, generally before I see a film, I try not to know anything about it. But this film opened 2 weeks ago in America, and it was supposed to bomb. And it's doing, like The Conjuring, it's doing well. It's doing incredibly well. But I heard like critics just hate this film. So I went into this film. I saw it last night. I went in knowing that it was going to be trashy, right? And I wasn't disappointed.
It just depends on the ending, though. If it's got a good ending.
Yeah, well, I don't want to ruin the ending, but yeah.
Well, you don't have to say. But no. Is there? Is it believable? Is there a twist?
Is it believable? Of course, it's not believable. It's a horror film. Of course, it's not believable. Well, unless you believe in demons, right?
People do.
Yes, people do.
No. But what I meant by believable, the acting doesn't make it believable.
Okay. Well.
Or is there some kind of twist that's really like, oh, that made it a really good film?
Yeah. Okay.
Or something like that.
Okay.
You don't have to tell us what the ending is. I'm just.
All right. I'll just say no twist.
Okay. No twist.
No twist. Yeah. Interesting. It's funny you say that. There are no twists to this film. Really, there's none. All it is, the film starts off well. The first 20 minutes I'm watching, I was thinking, this is not a bad film. Like, why is everybody complaining about it? It's not a bad film. It's very similar to The Exorcist.
You could say for the genre, it's
right.
not a bad film.
Well, that's how I'm going to end this off. That's my final line. For the genre, it's not a bad film. But actually, the first 20 minutes, it's not a bad film, whatever the genre. It's really quite entertaining. Okay. And it's very similar to The Exorcist in terms of, the spookiness and where it's going, and he's an exorcist, and I started thinking, oh, okay, I can like this film. But then the story just heads for the dumper and just goes deeper and deeper and deeper, just spirals into the dumper. It's pretty much 96 minutes, and that's a wonderful thing. It's very fast, 96 minutes. It's 96 minutes of jump scare, jump scare, jump scare, jump scare, jump scare. That's all it is. The story is ridiculous. The dialogue is just absurd. But then afterwards I thought, well, aren't most trashy horror films full of jump scares, trashy, ridiculous dialogue and absurd situations? So in that respect, I thought, in Toto, I thought, okay, you know what? It does what it's supposed to do. So I don't hate this film. I actually don't hate it. It's not a good film, but it's entertaining. It's entertaining trash. So there was the possibility that the film could have been really good. With the priest and the nun, they had very interesting backstories with two of them, and their acting was good, I gotta say. But I found for most of the movie, Sister Irene, she's got this wide-eyed look, this knife look, and she screams an awful lot. She's apparently the reigning scream queen, I understand. Like Jamie Lee Curtis was the scream queen 25 years ago. Although, there's a Halloween remake that's out with
No.
starring Jamie Lee Curtis, and it's supposed to be really good. It's coming here. Not sure. I think it's coming here in October, and it's supposed to be really
Duh.
good. Yeah. Well, look, you got horror films usually August, September.
Mm,
This one, yeah, it's going to come, I think, the end of October
okay.
for the obvious reason. So I look forward to that one because the original Halloween from 25, 30 years ago was really good.
Mm.
That was a good film. So, so this one, Thaisa Farmiga, she's the reigning scream queen and she screams a lot. And I didn't really like that. I would have liked that they were, he's an exorcist. He's got experience with demons. He shouldn't have been surprised by anything. And yet he was surprised by everything. And she has a certain power to her, which we learn through the film. And then I thought she also shouldn't be surprised too much, So I was disappointed in how they ended up writing those two characters, that I would have liked them to have been stronger. I would have written, I always say I would have written this very differently. I should have been a screenwriter. So
There's still time.
there's still time, yeah. Now I can also complain that Frenchie, the farm guy, the village guy, he definitely does not have a Quebec accent because I know I'm Canadian, and the village people should not be able to speak English, much less converse with Frenchie. But to me, that's low-hanging fruit to complain about. Those are little things. Now, as I said, critics are widely panning this film, and audiences are generally, I don't want to say audiences are liking this film because, it's not that good, but they're saying it's entertaining, and I'm with the audiences in this one. It's not a great film, but it's an entertaining film. And as I said, the film opened a couple weeks ago in America. It's already made over $230 million off a budget of $22 million. So it's already made more than 10 times its budget. So that only means one thing. You know what that is? There will be a sequel.
Okay, can't wait.
There will be a sequel, right? And certainly the movie ends, and this is where I'm going to talk about the ending. The movie ends in such a way that they've already worked out what the sequel is going to be, right? So,
Yeah.
right, and even the producer James
Like,
Wan.
when they end a television series, that there's going to be another one.
Yeah.
The first, there'll be a second.
Right.
Because of the way it ends.
Right. So this
It
is
has to be.
yeah, it has to be. And even the producer James Wan says he wants it that it comes full circle back to The Conjuring again. Now, very interestingly, Thaisa Farmiga is the kid sister of Vera Farmiga, who was in the first two Conjuring films, and she has a very small part in this one as well. Oh, you just had another light bulb moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because if you saw The Conjuring, you know who she is, right?
Mm.
And so it'll be interesting to see if somehow they connect the two characters, because the actresses are sisters. Maybe the characters are mother-daughter or something like that. Because the time frame could be such that they're mother-daughter, right? Whereas the younger one is the mother of the older one, right? So we'll see. We will find
Are
out
they
soon enough.
listening? Are they listening?
Yeah, we will find out soon enough when The Nun 2 comes out. So if you're into trashy horror films or the Conjuring universe, definitely go see the film. If you haven't seen other films in the series, I haven't seen the other films in the series, and you'll be fine. Yeah, you don't need to know the backstories or anything to figure it all out. You don't need to be a rocket scientist or an exorcist to figure it out. Now, however, if this genre really isn't your bag, you can safely give it a miss and sleep peacefully at night. So that's my take on The Nun.
Okay, many thanks.
Thanks.
Howard Elias. Thank you.
See ya.